Good evening and welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you back with us. I'm Tom Waters, your host, and I have with me this evening for the first two sessions, I have Sarah Panariso, and she's a volunteer for Honor Flight of Southern Nevada. She's been here before and you may have listened to her before, but there's just so much that veterans and families of veterans need to know. But the first thing I want to do is welcome Sarah to the show. So, Sarah, glad you're back.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's an honor.
Well, it's an honor for us because your Honor Flight program is just so invaluable to the veteran community and everybody that knows anything about it.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be able to volunteer for Honor Flight Southern Nevada.
You know, we've got so much to talk about this evening.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I want to make sure that we talk about is the fact that if any of our veterans have not been on the Honor Flight, you just need to remember that if you're a veteran, you qualify. Now, we do talk about the veterans that have been involved in wars and things like that. And yes, they are looked at to get them to Washington, D.C. and look at all the monuments. But all veterans are invited. And the families of veterans are invited as well because they can come, but we're going to talk about how they can come as well.
Yes, sounds great.
Okay, so let me ask this question of Sarah right away, and she has all these answers. So if you call her, by the way, she's going to have more answers for you too. So don't hesitate. If you have any questions at all, we want you to write those questions down and be sure to call her and say, Sarah, I saw you on TV and I would just like to know what about this, what about that? And that's what it's all about. So what's a good way to get in touch with you?
So I'm the volunteer coordinator and the Honor Everywhere coordinator for Honor Flight Southern Nevada. And if you would like to email me, my email is volunteer@honorflightsouthernnevada.org. And I would love to get in touch with you. And if you would like to volunteer, if you would like to apply, if you're a veteran and you would like to go on our flight to Washington, D.C., you can go on our website, honorflightsouthernnevada.org, and you can apply. And all veterans are welcome. We do take, it's based on age.
Right.
So we do have a wait list for veterans to go on our flight. And our youngest veteran is 80 years old. And we do 2 trips a year. And we take 25 veterans each time on those trips to Washington, D.C.
That's beautiful. So how many veterans have you taken so far?
We have taken 565 World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. for free.
565.
Yes.
That's a lot of veterans at 25 at a time, and they're taking all these trips. And I've got to ask the question, if veterans are going and they're getting a chance to fly to D.C. and see everything that you have for them, how much does it cost the veterans?
Free. It's totally free of charge.
No cost at all for the veterans?
No cost at all. We cover everything. Food, travel, hotel. There's no cost to the veterans.
Now, how do you fund this? It's not funded by taxpayers, is it?
No, we are a 501c3.
Okay.
We're a nonprofit organization, and we sponsors. All proceeds, all donations go 100% back to the veterans. And we just celebrated our 10th anniversary. So we've transported all these veterans in 10 years. Honor Flight Southern Nevada was founded in June of 2013.
Okay.
Our very first flight was October of 2013, and it was all World War II veterans. There is a national honor flight in D.C., but there is 130 hubs, and they're in different cities. And different ones work differently. Like the northern states had taken Vietnam veterans earlier than we did.
Okay.
Warmer climate states like, of course, Southern Nevada, Southern California, Florida, Arizona, they have a lot more World War II and Korean War veterans.
Okay.
So we just started taking our Vietnam veterans. And like I said, our youngest veteran on the flights are 80 years old.
So all of the younger veterans, they can be on the waiting list, but they are the younger veterans.
Right.
And so you are looking at the older ones because they won't be around that much longer.
Well, we just want to make sure that they get to go to DC and they get to see these memorials and monument. Yeah.
I agree with you completely. I know when I got a chance to go, I was just honored. I was honored by not only all the volunteers that I saw, the people that work with Sarah, but they also have what they call guardians. Tell us something about the guardians.
So a guardian is a volunteer that goes on the flight with the veteran. So every single veteran will have a guardian, and a guardian's job is to be their paparazzi. If they need help being pushed in the wheelchair, anything they may need, that would be what the guardian would do. Guardians do pay their own way, and unfortunately, they're not spouses, so they cannot be spouses of the veterans.
Okay.
A lot of times, they're adult children that will accompany their father or their mother, because we do have women veterans that go on this flight, and they can't say enough about it. They've bonded so much with their parent when they go on this flight. They really enjoy it. They really do.
Now, I do have to ask this because we're in Pahrump right now, and we
Yes.
talk about the veterans in Pahrump, and Pahrump is a very, very veteran recognized and honored town.
It is. This is my 4th time in Pahrump, and every time I've come, it's because of you, because you've invited me. I absolutely love it. Everybody has always been so nice, and this is definitely a veteran community. You've taken me around to see all the different like memorials and just everything, and it's absolutely wonderful. But you're 100% correct. It's a veteran community. You're all about the veterans. I love it.
So with that, when we talk about the veterans going to DC,
Yes.
how many husband and wife teams have you had?
That we're both veterans.
They're both veterans.
Since I started in 2016, I'm thinking 2 couples.
Okay.
But we do not take husband and wives unless they're both veterans themselves.
Yeah.
And they both have to qualify, age, everything. They both have to qualify to go.
And that's what we're talking about. We have a veteran couple here in Pahrump, and they were both on my team.
Phil and Pam.
Yes, Phil and Pam. And they got a chance to go, and they're still talking about it to everybody. And when we talk about husband and wife teams, like Sarah said, it doesn't happen that often because they have to both qualify, both be veterans with the age and the whole bit.
Yes, they both have to require at the same time. Yep, meet the
And
requirements.
they qualified.
Yep.
So they went, and in fact, we just had a Christmas party recently, and Phil and Pam, they were Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And they talked about, again, the honor flight of Southern Nevada. So that's why we're here today, to inform you and let you know exactly what's going on with this program and how important it is, and how important it is to spread the word so that not only the people that are watching this program, but everybody should know that Sarah and her other volunteers have this program, Honor Flight of Southern Nevada, and it's dedicated to veterans. 501c3, they need all the donations they can get to keep it going. You heard her say over 500 veterans they've taken to DC on this program, and they want to continue this program into the future for as far as they can. And the only way to do that is with funding.
Yes, sir.
And if you're interested in going, if you're interested in getting on the list, or if you're interested in finding out more, Sarah, give them the website one more time.
HonorFlightSouthernNevada.org.
HonorFlightSouthernNevada.org. And you have so much information right there. So we're going to encourage you to definitely follow up on everything we've talked about today. And we're not done, because we want to let you know that, well, let's talk about when they start. They get the information, then they know they're going, and then what happens?
So they would go on our website, and you can fill out an application on our website. We get that. If you are eligible to go, you'll get a phone call. Now, like I said, we do have a veterans waiting list to go on the flights. But say due to age, you're eligible to go, you get a phone call, and then we'll do an interview. And the interview will just make sure we look at your DD-214, any medical history you may have, And then when you go, we always leave on a Friday. Our next flight is actually April 19th through the 21st. We leave early on a Friday morning. We get to DC that afternoon. We usually fly into Baltimore Washington International Airport.
BWI.
Yes.
Okay.
And Saturday is when we see all the monuments. We see everything in DC on Saturday, and then we come back on Sunday. Now, a lot of veterans say, I've already been to Washington, D.C. Well, you've never, ever been to Washington, D.C. the way we take you. You were honored the entire trip. You were treated like royalty. Those memorials are there in your honor, to honor you and show that respect of your sacrifice for being in World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War. And for every veteran or soldier that was overseas, there were 4 back home that was making sure what they were doing were successful. So you do not have to have served overseas just during that time. Makes you eligible to fly.
And that is so important because we have so many veterans that maybe were not in the war zone, but we had to have that support. So you're eligible. You wore the uniform. And if you'd like to go to D.C. and be treated like royalty, as Sarah has stated, I'd say sign up as soon as you can. Get on that list, get on the waiting list so that you can be escorted and treated like royalty. We're going to have some more in the next session to tell you and also show you some pictures of exactly what happens when veterans are in D.C. and how we're treated. Again, it's fantastic. It's unbelievable. If you get a chance to go, you're going to come back and you're going to tell your friends, your family, and you're going to encourage everybody to come. So come back and join us on the next session, and we'll be waiting for you. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I still have Sarah Panariso with me. Panariso. And I was just thanking Sarah for the beautiful cup that she brought. And this is an Honor Flight of Southern Nevada cup. And I'm gonna relish it. I appreciate it. And I want to thank you, Sarah, for bringing it.
Of course. Honor Flight Southern Nevada has their own coffee, red, white, and blue, and Purple Heart.
Oh.
And the proceeds, when you go on our website, honorflightsouthernnevada.org, and purchase our coffee, the proceeds go to the veterans of Honor Flight.
You can't beat that. And as we stated earlier in the first session, this is a 501c3.
Yes.
They're doing a lot of fundraising so they can continue to support veterans by sending us to D.C. to see the monuments. And Sarah's going to tell you a lot more about that. Talk about some of the itinerary and exactly what happens from the time you apply to the time you're accepted, when you get there, and some of the other things you're going to see. And she's also got some pictures she'd like to show you of previous trips. So Sarah, take it away.
You got it. So earlier you had asked me why I volunteer for Honor Flight Southern Nevada and why I do what I do. That is 100% because of my father-in-law. My father-in-law was a Vietnam War veteran, and he was what you called a tunnel rat. And unfortunately, when he came back, he did not get the honor and respect he deserved. It was just the opposite. He was spat on. He was treated horribly. And because of this, he never, ever talked about his experience. And I believe it is never too late to honor our veterans. It's never too late to say thank you for your service. And I also believe that we should teach the next generations and the children to do just that for our active duty soldiers. So what happened with Vietnam does not repeat itself and happen now. So our children grow up knowing that they need to honor the active duty and they need to honor and respect our veterans. That's why I do it. And Honor Flight Southern Nevada does just that. Our mission is to honor these veterans, take them to DC to see these monuments and these memorials that are there in their honor and for their sacrifices they've done. Like I said before, we leave on Friday morning. We fly into Baltimore Washington International Airport. We arrive at the hotel, we have dinner, everything is paid for the veteran. You will have no wants, no needs. You will eat like any snacks you need, anything you need, you've got it. Saturday morning, we leave early. We have a bus, and it takes us to our very first stop. And we do have a picture of this. It's the World War II Memorial. Is our very first stop. And our veterans, that's actually the Vietnam Wall. That is one of our stops. The Vietnam Wall.
And that's a picture of me, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the World War II Memorial. That's
Okay.
our first stop. We have a color guard there that welcomes all of the veterans that are there. And if you look at this picture very carefully, everyone has a smile on their face
Absolutely.
at this World War II Memorial. It's wonderful. It's amazing. You can see the Lincoln Memorial from it, the Washington Monument. If we go to the next picture of the Vietnam Wall, this is different. World War II Memorial, people are happy there. People are grateful to see it. The Vietnam Wall is very somber. It's one thing to see a picture of it. It's another thing to actually be there. Yes. Many people, it brings up memories that are uncomfortable. They say they can feel it. They can hear it. This had a special meaning for you. Would you like to talk about that for a moment before I go on?
Well, it's just the fact that my brother's name, Melvin, is on the wall. And I came very close to having my name on the wall as well. So when I go there, it's very emotional. It's very difficult to really put into words exactly the feeling that you have when you're there.
Yes, and a lot of times veterans think that when we stop at these different memorials, that they actually have to go see it. And if you communicate with your guardian or the volunteer and you're like, you know what, I really want to go past it, we can do other things. We don't make you see or make you go there if it's too uncomfortable, if it's just overwhelming for you. The next stops, we go to Korean War Memorial as well. We go to Iwo Jima, as you see here. This is all of us in front of Iwo Jima, all the veterans. And we go to the Air Force Memorial. And our last flight, we actually went to the Pentagon Memorial, which that was really wonderful. And of course, your favorite was the Arlington Cemetery, yes. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You got to lay, here's a picture of that. You got to lay a wreath with another Pahrump veteran.
Yes.
Pam. Yes, you got to lay a wreath there. And this is very somber as well. And it's a tremendous honor that we get to see the changing of the guard and this wreath laying, and that we're able to do that.
You know, and most people, when they go to Arlington, and I have to say that during my active duty days, I was stationed near D.C. And spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. Did not see all the things that I saw on the trip when I went with Honor Flight of Southern Nevada. The fact that I had to drive around and look at different things. But going with Honor Flight of Southern Nevada, I was treated completely different. And it just made me feel that after all these years, here is an organization that shows its appreciation for veterans and is doing everything they can to let veterans know they're appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. And our after we do Arlington Cemetery, we go to the National Archives or the Navy Memorial. And the National Archives, you get to see the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights. So that's a pretty wonderful experience. We get treated like royalty there as well. We get to go in the exit, and we get a special escort and tour guide to do that. And then the dinner we have Friday night in the banquet room and the dinner we have Saturday night, correct me if I'm wrong, is night and day. Yes. So Friday night, the veterans really don't know what to expect. But you bond so quickly with other veterans in such a short amount of time.
Absolutely.
That Saturday night, everybody's joking around, having fun, enjoying it. We're just having a good old time Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, we have breakfast and we leave and we go to the airport and we come home.
And what happens when we get home?
It's a surprise.
Yes.
There's a welcome home. Yes.
It's a welcome home, and it's a welcome that you will remember for the rest of your life. That's the only thing we can say over and over. It is a wonderful welcome. And I just appreciate it, I guess, from day one, from just from the acknowledgement that I was going to be going. From that point on, everything was handled so professionally. I I was just amazed. And then the trip itself was just so fantastic. It's hard to describe. And that would be for every veteran that was there. And I think on my trip, we had 3 World War II veterans.
The last trip we had one, and she was a female. She was 98,
Okay.
and she was a nurse during World War II. So every flight, we've had a World War II veteran. Yes.
You can't beat that. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a person the other day, and it was a Korean War veteran. And it's a person I had not met before, but he had a Korean War veteran hat on. And I asked him how long he had been here. He's fairly new. So he'll be somebody that we want to get this information to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, definitely. We want this, as many veterans as we could possibly take. We would love to honor them.
Well, Sarah, tell us again about how many veterans you took and over what time frame and anything else you'd like to add.
So we've taken 565 World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to DC for free of charge in the last 10 years. We usually do 2 flights a year, one in April, one in October. That's because the temperature in DC isn't too hot or too cold in April and October. The last trip we went on, it did rain. We do it rain, sleet, whatever the weather, we're doing it. And one veteran said that it made the trip that much more special. The Korean War Memorial especially. I've seen it during the day and at night. And at night it has that kind of, that feeling that comes over you when you see it at night. But when it was cloudy and gray and wet and raining, it was just different altogether. It was a different feeling. And a lot of the Korean War veterans said they actually felt like they were there. The memorial just does a great job of capturing that time. And they've also had a new addition to it, which is a fountain and a wall with names around the Korean War Memorial. And a lot of people, say monuments when they go to DC, and there's really only one monument, and that's the Washington Monument. The rest are memorials.
Okay.
Yes.
When you mentioned the Korean War Memorial, as I went through it, and I was with a couple Korean War veterans, and they talk about the fact that that's so real.
Yes.
It reminds them of exactly like being there.
Yes.
And no, that's got to be a rough one.
Yes, it's kind of like the Vietnam Wall. And like I said before, we don't make veterans see it if they don't want to. We can do something else, just as long as we're back on the bus in time.
Right.
But a lot of people that go on this trip said there was this release, or because it can be very emotional, that came over them, and a weight had just been lifted off their shoulders, that it was an ending or a release that they didn't know they needed. So they were very, very grateful that they got to go on this trip, and they were very happy about it.
Okay. Wow. This is what it's all about. Honor Flight of Southern Nevada. We want you to know all about it. So be sure to contact Sarah if you want any more information. She's given you the website many times. Give it to us one more time.
HonorFlightSouthernNevada.org.
HonorFlightSouthernNevada.org. And you can get all the information about the entire program. Can they also donate on that?
Yes, you can donate on our website if you'd like to apply as a veteran, as a guardian, if you would like to volunteer. We have an amazing team of volunteers. We're 100% volunteer.
100% volunteers doing a fantastic job for veterans of all ages. But right now, the senior veterans are the ones that are going on the trip. But get on the waiting list. Your time will come, and you'll be so glad you did. I want to thank Sarah for being here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
This is just fantastic.
I love it.
And we want you to stand by because we have more guests for you, tell you more about wonderful programs that we have. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back with us. I have two wonderful people that we're going to be talking to from the VA Gerofit Clinic, and they are Melisa Hosford and Imani Quinn. And these are the ladies that we see. When I say we, I'm talking about veterans that are part of the Gerofit program. We have exercises, and they do this 5 days a week, and they are just fantastic in keeping, try and say as nicely as I can, keeping old people well. And they do a fantastic job of keeping us exercising, keeping us alive. And that's really what it's all about. So, Melisa, Imani, I'd like to thank both of you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting us.
And we need to tell more people about this fantastic program. You guys are just fantastic. I don't know how you do it. Um, it's hard for me to keep up with you, but then I'm old, so I can do that. I can say that. I think everybody that I've talked to about the program, they think it's fantastic, truly outstanding, and I think that's why it's growing, just because of the two of you. So, we're going to start with Melisa. Melisa, tell us some of your background, how you got into this, and what it's all about. I know these wonderful people, they want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Melisa, and I'm from San Diego, California. I moved out to Vegas in 2012, and I've been with the VA for almost 13 years now. And in about 2020, we started Gerofit at our VA. Right before COVID happened, we were getting ready to implement. COVID happened, and so we didn't get to start until about a little bit later in 2020. But that's when the program got started, and we've been doing it ever since. So we're now in year 3-ish for the program, and we've continuously grown since then. And we brought in Imani. Imani came in 2021. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about you.
All right, so my name is Imani Quinn. I am from Brookhaven, Mississippi. And like Melissa said, I came in 2021. And my start was actually with the Gerofit program, so it's all I know with the VA here. But yes, 2021, and I'm 2 years in as of October.
That is fantastic. I do have to ask, overall, how many people did you start with?
Oh, it was very small when we started. I feel like class sizes were about 2 to 4, depending on the day, so very small.
And now we've grown significantly. We've got 125 veterans so far in our program, both virtual and on-site. So we do both programs depending on your abilities and where you are. You get both options, and so we've grown tremendously really within the last 2 years. Once people started feeling a little more comfortable getting back out and being around people. So we've really started to grow in the last 2 years, and we continue growing very much in some part, and thanks to you for helping us with these parunt veterans and rural veterans out in Laughlin as well. So we're trying to do our outreaches for those veterans as well.
You know, and I think maybe some of the Laughlin, as far as Laughlin goes, they may be watching this show as well. So we want to get more people in Clark County and Nye County, everybody that's watching this show. If you're a veteran, all you have to do is just contact them if you want to sign up for this program. It definitely is something that will keep you alive. And that's the most important part of it. Keep you healthy, keep you alive. But if somebody's interested in the program, what should they do?
So Gerofit itself is for veterans 65 and older. If you are younger than 65, we still can contact you and discuss some home exercises that you can do on your own. But this is specifically for 65 and older. And if you are interested in the program, your primary care doctor has to sign off on it. So you definitely reach out to your primary care doctor. There's some eligibility requirements and exclusions that we look for when we get the referrals to make sure that you're appropriate for the program. And those things we can discuss a little bit further about as well. But if you are interested, please reach out to your primary care doctor. They can put in a referral, and we can start that process from there.
Okay, so if somebody is interested and they contact their primary care provider, and say, look, I'm really interested in the program, and they're 65 or older, and then what do they do?
So once we get a referral from the primary care provider, Imani and I will review the consult, make sure they meet the eligibility requirements. The main eligibility requirements are that you're 65 and older, you're registered with the VA, that you're in stable condition medically and mostly physically as well. Those are like the main base criteria that we want to make sure that you meet. The exclusion criteria, unfortunately, we do have some of those for the program, and this is from a national standpoint, is that if you have chest pain that you're dealing with on a constant basis, you have to utilize supplemental oxygen at home. If you are having an issue with homelessness at the time period, what are some other ones that we...
Cognitive issues.
Yeah, if we have some cognitive impairments that cause you to have some difficulty performing your activities of daily living, things of that nature, those are some of the main criteria that unfortunately would exclude you from the program at this time. But that doesn't mean we can't call and speak to you about exercise. But Imani and I review those consults. We look for that criteria. And if you do meet that criteria, her or I will reach out to them by phone. We reached out to you by phone.
Yes.
To do an initial consultation with you over the phone to see how you're doing physically, if you're doing any exercise at this time, what kinds of things you're doing. We discuss patient goals, what your goals are with the program or exercise in general. And then if there's anything other information that's kind of pertinent that you feel like Imani or I should know in regards to your health and your medical condition before we get started with exercise, that's the time to do that. During that phone call, we also will set up a time to do an initial evaluation, which would be either bringing you in on site or virtual, depending on the option that you choose for the program. And from there, we do a lot of other things in that aspect.
Okay, let's talk about virtual, because that's how I attend. So tell them more about the virtual meetings.
So for our virtual program, we use the VA Video Connect, which is a telehealth option. So for our video, our patients who participate on video, we send out links each week. Every Friday, we'll send out the links for them, and they're able to log on the days that they are able to come to exercise. We can see the veterans, and they can see us, and we're leading them through the exercises.
Live.
And how long does it take?
Okay, we're in class for about an hour, give or take, with everything going on. Yeah,
It's a wonderful hour too. It truly is. And the big thing is, I watch both of you, and you're both exercising and doing all the things that maybe I was able to do when I was younger, but I'm able to keep up with you. And I like the grading system that you have. Tell us about the grading system.
So we use what we call the rate of perceived exertion scale. This is a scale based on intensity, and it's kind of a way for you to progress exercise. So with any cardio work that we do within Gerofit, we tell our veterans we want them working at about a 5 or a 6, which is pretty moderate intensity. And when we get into some of our strength training exercises, we kick it up to about a 7 or 8, which is pretty vigorous intensity. So by those last few reps, we want our veterans to really feel like they're working.
And we are.
Yeah.
and we are. And again, every veteran I've talked to that is part of the program, they all adore both of you. And I have to say that over and over. You're just two fantastic young ladies. So for everybody out there that is trying to find some way of, I need to exercise, I don't really want to, but once you sign up for one class with either one of them or both of them, you're going to be hooked like I was. And you're going to want more and more and more. So whenever I'm available, I put it on my calendar that I'm going to be with them. And I try to stick to it. But like Imani said, she sends out the link, and I have the links there. So anyone that I'm available for, I can sign up for. And they don't criticize me if I miss some. But I criticize myself because I look at the fact that I'm more tired if I stay with the program, it really makes me feel a lot better. So I want to stay with the program. I'm going to keep on going.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
I also want to let you guys all know. So, what is entailed in the exercise? So, whether you log in on video or you come into class with us, we do a variety of exercises during that time. So, we will do some stretching prior to any exercise, get you loosened up a little bit. And then we do cardio exercise. We're doing the aerobics, usually about 15 minutes of aerobics. And then we do strength training of all sorts, upper body, lower body, core. There are times we work on balance, flexibility, and we kind of tailor it to the needs. So we have one of us usually does things seated, one of us does it standing. So we show you different ways you can modify. So don't feel like if you think you aren't able to do something, you can still do it in modified ways. We want everyone to be able to participate, so we'll show you in different ways how you can do that. But one of us is normally sitting, one of us is normally standing. You don't need a lot of room to do this. Some people think they need to have a gym at home to be able to exercise. You absolutely don't. You can have a tiny little space at home in front of your computer or laptop, whatever it is, and we take you through 45 minutes to 60 minutes of an exercise session. For those that are doing virtual, we have some folks that have their own dumbbells or exercise weights at home. Otherwise, we send out resistance bands that you utilize. So whether you have something or not, we give you something to utilize for class that you can participate in. And again, one of us is showing dumbbells, one of us is showing the bands, so that whatever you have at home, you can utilize it. If you don't have anything, have people that have used like water bottles or soup cans in their cupboards for weights. I mean, anything is possible. There's no excuse why you can't exercise. And that's kind of what we show you, is that even though this exercise is for, veterans 65 and older, we can still do it.
So we want you to be sure to take a lot of notes. Be sure to contact either one of them and come back and join us for our next session, because we've got so much more for you. Welcome back for our final session. We still have Melisa and Imani with us, and this is from the Gerofit program, and they are just truly outstanding in keeping us older veterans alive. I'll say it that way. And there's so many other things that we'd like to tell you about the program, how you can benefit from it, how you can participate in it, and how you can tell your friends that are veterans that can participate. And I'm going to ask a question. We didn't talk about this before, but if you have a veteran and their family member wants to participate, can they participate as long as they're not on camera?
So they can, yes. We have several veterans that are currently enrolled that have spouses that participate. Whether they want to be on camera or not, that's absolutely fine. Being on camera definitely is a safety. We are able to watch you to make sure that everything's safe and you're safe. But we do have spouses that participate. They don't enroll in the program, but they can certainly do that as part of their routine with their spouse. We don't have the capacity to take on spouses at this point as far as enrolling them into the program, but they can certainly help out and participate and keep the veterans motivated for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So you heard that part. Just wanted to get that clarified just to be sure, because I'm sure there's some spouses out there that say, well, I see my spouse doing it, but I'd like to participate as well. So now we know that you can, not officially, but you can still participate and just stay in shape.
Yes. And Gerofit in general is, while it's only for 65 and older, as Mr. Tom has mentioned before, it's definitely promoting health and wellness for the aging veterans. And there's a wide range of benefits. I mean, not only improving your health, reducing your risk of hospitalizations, reducing medications that you might be on, being able to get better sleep. There's just a huge benefit just in general for exercise. And so this program really helps kind of get you into a routine of doing exercise. Ideally with our program, the more you'll benefit from it is obviously the more that you can attend from it. We try to have folks attend 2 to 3 times a week, depending on their schedules, of course. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, if there's times that you're not able to attend, you're not able to attend. Everyone has life and schedules and other appointments to attend to. So if you can't make every session, that's perfectly fine. But if we can do about 2 sessions a week, that's where you'll get most of the benefit from. And we have sessions Monday through Friday. We both do on-site and virtual. Whether you see both Imani or I at one time or one of us, you will always get an exercise session in for the week. So Monday through Friday are on-site, which means at the Veterans Hospital on North Pecos. We have sessions Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. and from 10 to 11 a.m. Then those are the folks that do virtual, like Mr. Tom here. We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 12. Tuesday, Thursday, we give you the afternoon option to kind of, everyone's schedule's different. Some people like mornings, some like afternoons. So Tuesday, Thursdays are our afternoon sessions. On-site is from 1 to 2 p.m. And then our virtual is from 2 to 3 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we have a wide variety of sessions that you can attend. And that's why we say, if you can get in 2 to 3 a week, that would be fantastic. We love seeing everyone that comes on. And I think everyone would enjoy the groups too as they get involved with them. But those are the sessions that we have now. And I know that's a lot to take in. So if you ever have any questions, please reach out to your primary care to get a consult. And then Imani or I will contact you and give you all that information again.
Now, when they contact their primary care representative, what do they tell them? That they want to participate in the Gerofit program, or they're just looking for something for exercise?
So primary care definitely knows about the program now. We're still promoting and we're still getting more people out there. So if your primary care is maybe a little bit new to the VA, they may not quite know yet. But just tell them you want to join an exercise program called Gerofit. And we have our consult right in their menu for the primary care providers to select.
Okay.
And that's how it'll get to us to be able to contact you guys.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I just think it's a fantastic program, and I'd encourage every veteran that's eligible to participate in the program. You definitely can't go wrong. And everybody needs exercise. If you listen to your doctors, that's what they're telling you over and over. This is a fantastic way of getting that done. So, I look forward to seeing these ladies several times a week. I don't get to do it as often as I want, but it's there. So I'm going to encourage everyone, just check out the program, find out more about it. If they just want to find out more about the program without watching this program over, what can they do?
So they can go on to the website, which is the va.gov/geriatrics. And from there, you'll be able to follow through on the webpage to see the Gerofit option on there. And that will give you more information on Gerofit. Or you can reach out to myself, my VA email, which is melissa.hosford2@va.gov. And I could always help filter out any questions and concerns, help you get the process started as well. And another quick thing with the program, which I'll have Imani explain a little bit about, is our testing that we do, our physical testing that we do for everyone that comes into the program.
Yes, so Gerofit is a study. So once you come into the program, we let you know that we're going to test you at what we consider a baseline testing, which will be your initial visit with us. And it's set up differently across virtual and face-to-face. So we test you initially at baseline, then we test you at 3 months, we test you at 6 months, and then we test you at your year mark. And after your year mark, we begin to test you yearly, just so we can update you on how you're doing with exercise. And we keep your data just so we can inform you of those things. After your testing, we kind of rank you based on your age. So this is how we gather our results here. We put you into a percentile. So we have different age ranges from, say, for instance, from 75 to 79 and like that, just so we can let you know how you're doing as far as your percentiles. And that's kind of how we update you on your progress with the exercise.
That is fantastic. Is there any... How do we get feedback of how we're doing?
Well, in general, in class, we try to give you feedback, let you know you're doing a good job. If we see you slacking, we'll get on you that way too. So in general, we're doing those type of things from day to day. But through the testing, we're able to kind of sit with you one-on-one, kind of let you know how everything is going, and then kind of update you on some changes we could make, or, just things that you want to work on more specifically as far as your exercise in general.
Now, does this also go into our medical records?
Yes, sir. So we do, we have a database that we enter your testing information into, and then we also do a note in our computerized record system for you.
So if we're doing a good job, it's annotated in our records.
Yes, sir. It sure is.
And if we're not doing a good job,
It's
It's
also
in there as
annotated.
well. Yes, sir.
okay. So we need to make sure we're there and we're doing a good job. I have looked at my records and I have noticed that that's in there. So I'm very pleased with that.
I would also like to say, too, that so this program, even though we started it here in the Las Vegas VA in about 2020, end of the year, this program has really been around for a long time. It's been around since 1986, and it actually started in Durham, North Carolina. That's our national site. And since then, it's grown tremendously. We have 31 different VAs throughout the U.S. that have Gerofit now, and that's also continuing to grow. So we were one of the newer sites back in 2020, and with that program has been, as Imani had mentioned, it's kind of a study or research program that has been initiated because the VA wanted to get some fitness programs out there for veterans. And one of the priority groups was the aging veteran. And so Durham VA, their geriatric clinic, took on this program, founded Gerofit, and it's been a huge success ever since. And so they wanted to spread the wealth. And so now we are here at Las Vegas wanting to spread the wealth of exercise and health and wellness to everybody.
And the program is growing. It's growing beautifully. And we've already stated how many, clients you started with and how many you have now. So
Yes.
it's really growing.
Yes.
Is it growing each day or each week? Or
Oh, each day.
Each
Yes.
day?
Definitely each day. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I know when I look at the screen and on the computer, and I'm trying to see how many people are there by the listing, and sometimes it's a large class, and other times it does fit. So you're able to work that in regardless of the number of people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we typically have anywhere from, when we started, we had initially about 4 or 5 people in a class, and now we have anywhere up to 25 that usually attend at one time. And we are able to get exercise in for everybody. Again, depending on what status you're at, I don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't exercise. There's always something you can do. Imani and I can always tailor it in a way that gets you active. And you will see the improvements. The more that you come and the more that you are actively participating, you will see the improvements. And that's part of what the testing was that Imani explained, is that we go through that testing so that you can see that you are actually doing better and that there's always improvements that can still be made, but we're always moving towards the right direction. That's the point. And just being active and staying as independent as we can as we get older.
That is fantastic. The other thing I've noticed is Imani likes to call people by their names, and seems to know all the people, and I think that's fantastic.
Yes. That's part of the community,
Yes,
and
for sure.
the more that you come as well, not only Imani and I will have fun and probably pick at you, but it happens back to us as well. So I think the more that everyone joins and sees the crowd that comes, it just becomes a very special part of your day.
It is. It's a very fantastic part of the day. It gives us the exercise we need. It keeps us healthy. It keeps us alive, and that's so important. So I'm going to ask that everybody out there, every veteran that's eligible, sign up for the Gerofit program. It's a wonderful program. It's something that the VA provides, and these 2 young ladies are there to benefit each one of us. They're there for us. So we need to thank them, and I want to thank both of you for being on the show this evening.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And more people are going to be watching this. So come back and see us at the next show.